I'm currently in the process of making a long-form video that will compare the shootings of Daunte Wright and Renee Good, because in my opinion, they are very similar cases with different intentions behind them and have been treated extremely differently. I apologize as I will be taking multiple cuts to look down at my notes because I keep on stumbling on my words. Because this is quite an emotional topic for me, as I believe that it is for a lot of the people watching this video. Both Daunte Wright and Renee Good were shot and killed by a law official in the same exact jurisdiction in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The difference is how these cases have been treated. Kim Potter was condemned, while Johnathan Ross has been celebrated and told that he killed a domestic terrorist. I highly encourage anyone watching this video to go out and do their own research, to watch the body cam footage from both the Kim Potter incident and the Johnathan Ross incident, because I feel as though it is important to look at primary sources instead of secondary sources from news outlets. I shall preface this by saying that I do not believe that either Daunte Wright or Renee Good should have started driving when you are in a situation where somebody with a gun is telling you to do something. Your best bet is not to start driving. If I remember correctly, Daunte Wright did not begin driving until after he had been shot. Both cases, it has been brought up that there was endangerment of an officer. In the Daunte Wright case, there were officers on both sides, in the passenger side and the driver's side, holding on to the inside of the car. If Daunte had started driving, there was the chance that the officers could get dragged. With Renee Good, she gave hand signals. She stopped. She turned away from the officer that shot him. With Kim Potter, she yelled, "Taser, taser, taser," took out her gun and fired one single shot. Immediately afterwards, as she processed what had happened, she yelled, "Oh God, I grabbed the wrong gun," and began sobbing, later stating, as she cried, that she had killed Daunte Wright. I personally have not seen any evidence or any videos of Johnathan Ross having any remorse for what happened. Johnathan Ross fired 3 times at the driver of a moving vehicle that was pointed away from him. Anyone who has worked on the force of some type have been trained and told, do not get in front of a vehicle, do not get behind a vehicle. Johnathan Ross moved in front of the vehicle and moved to the side as he shot. I need to do further research on what happened to Daunte Wright after his car crashed, but after Renee Good's car crashed, medical officials were kept away from the scene and told, "I don't care." Kim Potter fired her gun before Daunte Wright had started driving. He only hit the acceleration after he was hit. She had intended to use a taser, and yes, that can be just as irresponsible as shooting somebody who's operating a moving vehicle. But I believe under any circumstance, it is irresponsible to shoot, tase, or anything of the sort somebody who is operating a vehicle that is clearly not in park. Renee Good was driving. That was a crowded residential street, and I do not believe that under any circumstance, when it can be avoided, an officer should shoot someone who is behind the wheel of a moving car. Officers are not trained to keep people from getting away. They are trained to try and detain people when they can, but get them on a later date if they have to. Police do not get told to start chases unless there is something incredibly dangerous about what the individual is doing in the chase. When an officer has somebody's information, they will more often go to their house and track them down. Johnathan Ross, while he was taking his video, panned directly to the license plate of Renee Good's car. He had no reason to believe that he would not be able to get her later. He just wanted to stop her. When you watch the video from his phone, you see that he switches his phone from his right hand to his left hand and pulls his gun after being insulted by Renee Good's wife. The administration has been trying to paint this in a light of he's traumatized, he was scared, talking about Johnathan Ross. and that he had been dragged by a car in a stop 6 months ago. While that may be correct, while that may be true, he did not give off the behavior of someone who was afraid. He seemed calm. He seemed in control. If he was so afraid of being dragged by a car, why would he step directly in front of it when Renee Good's wife said, "Drive, baby, drive"? Kim Potter resigned and stepped down from her duties, quote, a day or two after the incident. Meanwhile, I have not found a single thing that has stated that Johnathan Ross has stepped down or anything of the sort. Again, as this was 4 years ago, I need to research this some more, as this information is still old in my head. But from what I remember correctly, the thing that did Kim Potter in is the fact that after what happened, after she accidentally shot Daunte Wright, she cried and said, "I shot him, I killed him." That is the thing that was highlighted in the courtroom. If Kim Potter had been going for the same angle that the right is currently pushing for Johnathan Ross, then she would have gone free. If she went with the angle of, "I had to do it," someone would have been hit by a car, then she would be going free. Again, I don't know if I've said it in this video because I've made many takes, but I highly encourage you to go out and watch the raw body cam footage, the raw cell phone footage from both of these events, as I feel as though it is very important to watch the primary sources instead of secondary sources from news outlets, as they can be misleading.